But since he had no other choice, Subaru tried using a different kind of skill. This goblin was about to attack Sayaka, but a red thread was casted onto its neck. The other monsters were also hit by this attack. Sayaka was now wondering what kind of skill was this. Her teammate stood at the other side and was holding the threads that were connected to the monsters. Subaru held all the threads properly. He then turned his body around and ran onto the opposite side. This pulled all the threads that were connected to the goblins and kobolds. This move made the bodies of these monsters fly away. Sayaka was shocked by what she saw. This guy just defeated all the monsters in one move. Subaru was quite satisfied with the result. His body then started to glow. The system notified our MC, then he leveled up. Defeating those monsters made him level up until level 4. His blood mold skill was also upgraded. Its effect duration was increased to 15 seconds. Subaru also noticed that all of his wounds from the fights he had were healed. He also felt the increase in his strength. His HP and MP were fully recovered as well. Sayaka then ran towards our MC. She was still wondering how Subaru defeated all of those monsters. Our boy then started to praise Sayaka for her skill. He told her that it was really an amazing skill. This confused Sayaka because she was supposedly the one who should be saying that to Subaru. But then Subaru explained that her skill was overpowered and she could be invincible in 1 versus 1 matchups. She could just continuously hit her opponent with her skill, and that would mean infinite stuns. Sayaka was shocked because this was the first time she thought about this scenario. Subaru then pointed out a place where she could go and try this discovery about her skill. Sayaka could make use of this terrain, and this will give her advantage because monsters would have to fight her one by one. This small passage was already being used by the monsters. Sayaka then immediately ran towards that place and told Subaru to wait for her. This lady didn't waste any more time and tried her skill. She will hit these monsters first and apply her skill, and after 3 seconds, she would punch them again to reactivate her skill. This process went on multiple times, and after a while, this punch was able to end this goblin's life. The system notified Sayaka that she defeated a level 6 goblin. Her eyes started to sparkle as she was so amazed by this method. She then raised her hands and told the monsters to go and come at her. Subaru just stood there and observed his teammate. Sayaka started to defeat more and more monsters. The system then notified them that the boss monster for this gate had appeared. She turned her head around to inform our MC, but it was too late. The boss monster was already in front of Subaru. This boss monster consists of 2 high-leveled creatures. One was the goblin chief and the other one was the large kobold. Subaru informed Sayaka that he will leave the other monsters to her as he will be facing this one for himself. These guys knew that they were about to have an intense battle and started emitting their auras. This was then followed by a huge explosion. Sayaka saw that both Subaru and the boss monster jumped upwards. The kobold and Subaru started to exchange blows. Their movements were so fast that it was too hard for a normal eye to follow. The goblin chief then used the opportunity to cast its skill. Luckily, the system notified our MC about this one. The arrow that the goblin released started glowing and it was separated into more arrows. This skill was called Forge, and it was already at level 2. Subaru didn't have much time to dodge, so he surrounded himself with his skill. He was able to form a huge round shield. This was just enough to protect him and stop the arrows. It was like the ninjutsu that Gari used. The only difference was that this one has a time limit. After 15 seconds, the skill was done and it popped. Subaru was already falling onto the ground. He was thankful that his skill leveled up because if not, he would have died. He was starting to acknowledge the skill and strength of this boss monster. Our MC knew that he can't let his guard down against this one. Meanwhile, Sayaka was still staring at their fight. She was amazed at how Subaru was holding up. She wanted to help as well, but she couldn't find a perfect time. Her skill was also useless because the level of this boss monster was too high. She needed at least 3 levels lower or higher for her instant void to activate. The low-leveled monsters continued to attack, but she easily defeated them. She was still busy watching the fight of her teammate. She then thought that she should hurry and clean these ones first. Back to Subaru, his eyes changed their colors again. He surrounded his arms with blood, and then He whipped the blood towards the boss monster and it turned into lots of blades. But this attack was dodged by the kobold. It just jumped towards Subaru and was about to attack him again. Our MC didn't expect this one. The goblin chief has also charged its forage skill. Multiple arrows started to rain down. Subaru used his blood mold skill to create multiple shields to deflect them. He also tried counterattacking. This had really been an intense fight, but our MC was clearly at a disadvantage. He was starting to get tired. The large kobold took care of their evasion and mobility, while the goblin chief was in charge of the range attacks. Subaru was now struggling to find an opening because these monsters were too in sync. Another skill was then activated by the goblin chief. This one was called Perforation and it emitted a bright white light. This skill was already at level 3. Subaru didn't have time to react to this new skill. It was also too fast and it hit our MC. The arrow was able to create a hole. Blood started gushing out of Subaru. He then figured out that this boss monster also had some intelligence. It used its first skill as a decoy to bait him. Subaru clearly felt that he fell into their trap. He was starting to lose hope. He didn't know what to do. The goblin chief was already casting its next attack again, but before it could cast it, Sayaka came in and punched the large kobold. She was able to use her instant void skill this time. Subaru was shocked because he knew that her skill would require a 3-level difference first, but the large kobold really fell down. It meant that her skill worked. He then saw the passage where the weak monsters were coming through. They were all eliminated. Sayaka's level increased to level 9. That's why she was able to stun the level 12 kobold. She then continued to attack this monster every 3 seconds to permanently stun it. But their problem was still not done. The goblin chief jumped and was about to cast its skill towards Sayaka. She informed Subaru Aka Vanquish that she'll leave that one to him. Our boy already knew what to do. He happily took the responsibility. Subaru then casted multiple threads towards the kobold. He pulled the strings and made them into rubber. The force was enough to propel his body at an extreme speed towards the goblin chief. He then changed the properties of the rubber again and turned it back to a rope. The thread on this monster was then pulled once again and it broke its neck. This was more than enough to defeat the large kobold. The system notified Subaru that he leveled up again. He was now level 6. His wounds healed and his HP and MP were fully recovered. Subaru then remembered the skill that Tegi used against him. Our MC used his blood mold skill, and this one was called Derivation Blood Fist. The goblin chief still casted its arrow towards Subaru, but it was met with this fist covered with blood armor. Subaru managed to break through and was able to land a clean strike. He now had this cool expression on his face, and there it goes. The goblin chief was defeated by our MC. Multiple notifications of him leveling up appeared. His blood mold skill has increased again. It can now last up to 20 seconds. Sayaka has witnessed all of it. She can't believe that they really managed to defeat all the monsters in this gate. Subaru then turned and looked at her. This confirmed their victory. The system then officially notified them about their successful mission. They cleared this gate in just 16 minutes. They still have a lot of remaining time left. This was the new status window of Subaru. He increased his level from level 1 up to level 9. All of his stats increased a lot. Since the gate was cleared, the system gave them 30 seconds to get out before this gate disappeared. Meanwhile, these guys were still waiting outside the gate. This guy found out that Subaru stole his jacket and now he wanted to make sure he could get his revenge. He's already freezing. The other guy then noticed something written on the door. It already had the clear sign on it. This notification shocked them because it only has been 15 minutes since those two entered this gate. The average clearing time for this was around 2 hours. But their doubts disappeared as Subaru and Sayaka opened the gate again. The guy without a jacket immediately asked Sayaka if this was true. He thought that they were just lying. But a series of notifications then appeared to each of them. This confirmed that they cleared a 2-star gate. The remaining time, which was 3 hours and 11 minutes, will be added to the sky clock. All of them checked the sky clock if this was really happening. And then it really changed. Another 3 hours was added. This was the importance of clearing gates immediately. Sky clock was a gigantic gate that could be seen around the world. There's a rumor that the world will end once this one reaches 0, and the only way to prevent this was to clear more gates and add more time to it. This guy still can't believe that Subaru and Sayaka managed to clear a 2-star gate. On top of that, their levels were too low. He was then astonished as Subaru approached him. This guy apologized for ruining his jacket. Subaru told him that he will compensate him after. But then instead of being mad, this one changed his mood. He told Subaru that he could now keep the jacket. One of his friends teased him because a while ago, he was telling everyone that he'll make Subaru pay for stealing his jacket. With that, these players recognized the strength of these two. They bowed and thanked them for clearing the dungeon. After that, they all went on their way. The gate that they were about to clear could be seen from a distance. It was tall as a building. This 2-star gate only has 17 hours left before monsters could go out. This dungeon was called Soldier Dumping Ground. Sayaka and Subaru were successful on entering this gate. It was then revealed that players could go in and out of a gate as long as they wouldn't lock the door. This method was made so that players could go and survey the area first. This was a reason they found this gate. Sayaka thought that the structure of this place was really designed for her ability. She then asked Subaru to go and lock the door. The quest will then immediately appear. With that, their quest will now officially start. This lady was really excited because she already found out a way to really take advantage of her skill. Skeletons appeared at the bottom of this staircase and were now making their way up. Subaru noticed their weak presence, but something ticked him off. He immediately looked below this place. Our MC felt that there's an intimidating feeling at the lowest floor of this gate. The skeleton soldiers were now approaching. Sayaka's confident expression was starting to change. She didn't expect that the soldiers would come with these numbers. They were just too many. Before she knew it, one of them was already rushing towards her. Subaru saw this one coming. This lady was overwhelmed with the pressure she felt and was not able to dodge. Luckily, our MC was fast enough to cast his skill and protect her. Sayaka came to her senses and was able to use her skill. She thought that she got too close to the danger, but she had no time to slack around because the other ones were now running towards her. And again, Subaru was successful defending her. She then used this opportunity to execute her counterattacks. She immediately thanked Subaru for saving her life again. Sayaka also informed our MC that the level of these monsters were too high. They were level 10 or above. This meant that they were in trouble because they would not be able to get out of this gate until they cleared it. The option that they have was to eliminate all of these monsters and face the boss monster at the bottom of this staircase. Subaru volunteered and told Sayaka that he will handle the defense. Meanwhile, she will just focus on attacking the skeletons. They needed these monsters to reduce in numbers. Our MC thought that this terrain was really perfect for his teammate. But their numbers were just too much. One by one, the skeletons were being defeated. But this also backfired. Sayaka was almost at her limit. Subaru shouted at her. He suggested that they should take turns facing the skeletons. She can't exhaust herself that much. But this lady didn't respond. She then turned her head around and told that it was the other way around. Because the more skeletons she defeats, the faster she could level up and recover her stamina. The Sayaka was now level 10. She winked at our MC because this leveling up thingy proved that she was right. With this, Sayaka told Subaru that he should go and level up as well. A huge amount of flood then came rushing down. This was a new move among his derivation techniques. This one was called Blood Tide. Almost the whole staircase got affected with this skill. Sayaka managed to get to the edge of the stairs to dodge this one. Meanwhile, this guy was still focusing on his skill. He was already using all of his mana. He thought that he should use everything he got to defeat them all at once. Once Subaru felt he got every single one of them, he changed the property of the blood and hardened it. This froze and held all these monsters in their places. Sayaka just stood there and remembered how amazing Subaru's skill was. Our MC was already at his limit. He told Sayaka to go and finish the job as his skill will not last long. This lady happily agreed. She jumped in and started attacking the frozen skeletons. Sayaka ran downwards and along the way, she attacked the monsters. Not long after, she started to level up again. She was able to get to level 15 in just a single combo attack. Sayaka felt the strength coming to her body. She then advised Subaru to take care of the rest. Our MC knew that he could handle the remaining ones with his skill. He closed his fist and these skeletons were all crushed to pieces. One attack and he managed to level up as well. This felt like a speed run. Subaru managed to get to level 16 after defeating all the skeletons. His strength and stamina also recovered and increased. Sayaka had this expression because she thought that even the enemies got scared from his skill. But one skeleton managed to sneak out, and as usual, it was not successful in attacking Sayaka. Subaru saved her again. He then advised her to be more careful and to not let her guard down. More skeletons then spawned again. They both thought that at this rate, they could steadily increase their levels before they reached the boss monster. And while they were fighting these ones, Subaru can't shake the uneasy feeling that he got at the bottom part of this gate. He knew that the pressure below was getting stronger and stronger. More notifications of them leveling up then appeared. Sayaka has now reached level 20. Meanwhile, Subaru was at level 19. And finally, they have reached the bottom of this gate.
It's the end of this video. What? Like and subscribe for more videos.